take so long to do drugs?
Is that Rainbow Dash on your shirt?
I don't want to feel the feelings.
I need to eat a bunch of cheese boxes.
The best parts of hanging out with these guys without the hangover.
Hey, you sweet, sweet man. How are ya?
I'm dandy. I'm dandy, buddy. How are you?
I'm good. I'm living in, oh, Jesus. I said I'm living in boxes. You see behind me, this tower? Does that look like it's about to fall on my head? Because it really looks like it's about to fall on my head.
Yeah, it does.
Well,
and you know what? That'll make for a great show.
Yeah, the top one there, the top box has a lot of my my kitchen knife collection in it. So welcome to the very last Zig and Larry.
You got some Final Destination shit happening in your apartment right now.
Did you watch? That's how we get YouTube people.
Yeah.
Is you have to kill yourself with boxes. Shit is getting dangerous in here, by the way. We did damn near almost kill the dog yesterday or 2 days ago, whatever it was. We were getting rid of the dining set, right? So we bought a new one, and the box or the table itself is in a box. So it's a box the size of a fucking dining room table. It's big, you know? So we've got that wedged up against, well, we had it leaning up against the couch because we live in a 2-bedroom condo right now. You know what I mean? Like there's not a whole lot of place. We don't have storage, so we just have towers of boxes haphazardly. Ange went out on the balcony, which is right where the box was, came back in, nudged it ever so gently. She nudged a chair, I think, which like nudged it, or possibly even just the vibrations on the floor. Oh, no. And that whole thing went down. And you know what's right behind either one of us at any given point in time? A 10-pound dog. So we literally, it went down. I don't know how hard it hit him, but he's fine. Like he shook it off pretty good. But we literally, and I've never seen this happen before, scared the piss out of him. It went down. She turned into a superhero with mom strength adrenaline and picked this thing up by her little self, screaming, "Where's the dog?" And just, whoa, God. And he runs out. I don't know if it scared him or if it hurt him or both, but there was a huge puddle of piss. And he shook for a solid 15, 20 minutes. The entire time, the realtor is outside as she's trying to come in to show our place to somebody else. It's like, everybody's going to have to give us a second.
We nearly killed the dog. There's a puddle of piss. Not sure if it's his or mine or otherwise.
I want to come to this house. Why are they abusing animals? Why is everything wet and smell like piss? Funny story. It's piss. Welcome to Zig and Larry Ignore Topic, the only show that'll tell you about his dog almost dying before we say the name of our show.
Look, dude, if something equivalent to that size were to fall on me,
Yeah.
I'd probably piss and run away too.
We got lucky because I'm pretty sure that he was like towards the bottom of it. Because if it was like the top, you know what I mean, where that hammer dropped, that could have easily killed that thing. That box is fucking heavy. I think it's like 70 pounds.
Damn.
But if he's on this side, you know, it's more of a. It's not the full force. Mm-hmm. He's fine though. He didn't. He shook, but he didn't limp or anything. We took him on a nice long walk. We did have steak that night, and he had possibly more than on my plate than I did. Like, you don't even get kibble tonight, bud. There you go, ribeye for you.
You get this.
You've earned it. Just don't tell anybody that Daddy hits you.
So I was going to ask how your adventures in moving were going, but I
pretty
much explains it all.
There's that. We had our little impromptu going away party for a handful of people, whoever's like still in Chicago. It was like a very much melding of worlds colliding on like my worlds, her worlds, and then all together. It was really nice though. Yeah. Just at a local bar. Just like come, we played pool, just like mingle and hang out. The only thing I ingested yesterday, though, was a big bag of McDonald's and a roughage beet salad and whiskey.
Oh, no.
So I've had the Shartles today. So that's, a shark should only happen like once in a blue moon. It shouldn't be a syndrome. I don't think that's okay. Happily enough, I've caught them all and I haven't left more of a mess in a room that I wasn't planning on it. But yeah, there's been a couple of times I'm like, wow, beeline. Here we go. I like these shorts. I need to keep them.
We must salvage the shorts and relieve myself of these squeezins.
Yeah. You know how it is to move, man. You're surrounded by boxes slowly
Yeah.
but surely. And now we're getting to the end. I mean, when this episode airs, I will be somewhere between Tennessee and the middle of Georgia.
And on
Hopefully.
purpose this time.
Yeah. Oh, going through.
Yeah.
That's not hopefully not stopping.
Yeah.
If you hear a banjo, that hit the accelerator. But
Here's the thing: if you need recommendations on place, if you have to stop, hit me up, because I've traveled all through that area.
oh, that's a very good
multiple
point. Yeah.
times. So I'm familiar, and if something you need anything, I've got friends all along that corridor that all owe me a favor. So
I might have to, because like I said, like I've driven through. Well, actually, it's beautiful. I shouldn't poke fun. It's just such an easy joke, and I don't think it'll ever like bite me in the ass. I'm moving to the south, but I've driven through the Smoky Mountains before, and it's a little touch and go in a couple of places.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you hear a banjo, and it's either somebody with no teeth who wants to fuck you, or conceivably Steve Martin, but probably not.
yeah. On our way to North Carolina. Yeah, it's probably not Steve Martin.
No.
It's
Could be.
it's
He's
Martin
he's very
Steve,
talented.
and that's different.
He's very talented on that goddamn thing, but yeah.
Yeah, for sure. On our way, so I remind me, because I'm telling you a story about one of God's special soldiers, but I met two others on my trip through Nebraska for comedy. But yeah, we stopped for gas and get out and stretch our legs on our way to North Carolina when we were going on vacation. And there's this guy, has a backpack, his t-shirt's tucked into his back pocket.
Wait, what? His t-shirt is tucked into his pocket?
Back pocket, yes.
Like the t-shirt he's wearing is tucked into his pocket.
Yeah, well, no, he's
Not
not
his
wearing
pants.
it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's
It's off, but that's where he's storing it.
yes, that's where
Gotcha.
he's keeping it for now, in case he
Mhm.
he decides he needs to go back into the convenience store
Gotcha.
to pick up
That's
more
his-
peanut M&Ms and Spittins.
Uh-huh.
And so I come out and I'm stretching a little bit. I light a smoke, and he's just one of those guys that you're like, he seems okay, but he's gonna ask me for something. No, I was wrong, and I wanted to apologize to him, because he just looks over and he's like, "Hey, how's it going, man?" And I was like, "I'm good." And he goes, "Yeah, it's a beautiful day, ain't it?" I said, "It really is." He goes, "Yeah." And this cat's in his 30s, right?
Okay.
And has all of his teeth that I could see.
Was he like Abercrombie beautiful? Does he just like want to have his shirt off just in case a chick walks by and wants to see the deep V that he's got pointing to his crotch?
No.
No, is he built like me and he should have that shirt on?
No, he was in good shape. He was like in
Okay.
the kind of, he was in the I walk everywhere, including through the hills, and chop my own firewood kind of
Me
shape.
20 years ago.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, me 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, both
Everybody 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Everybody in their 40s 20 years.
And so he was just like, he's like, "Yeah, I just live up there." And he just points to a mountain. And I was like, "Oh," he goes, "Yeah, this is a great place to come down here. I get smokes. I shouldn't do it, but I smoke. And, get a few things." He goes, "It's funny though. See that hawk?" And I was like, "Yeah, the one that's circling overhead." He goes, "Yeah, that's my buddy." And I'm like, "Oh, now we're crazy."
Uh-huh.
And he's like, "Nah." He goes, "I don't eat meat, but he does. So I like to get lunch meat for him." And he was like, "Hold on." And he gives a whistle. And this hawk, and he pulls out a piece of lunch meat. And this hawk,
Bullshit.
I am not.
Is this a setup for a punchline that I'm going to get really upset with you for?
No, it's not.
Oh shit. Okay. So you met some manner of woodland sprite who took human
I
form.
did.
Okay. All right.
So he tells me, he's like, "Yeah, my grandparents own some land." He goes, "I tried the college thing. I tried the 9-to-5 thing. I got sick of that pretty quick. So, when they were like, right before they passed away, they gave me the land. And so I built a little cabin up there, befriend the animals, just live up there. I come down here, get what I need, and head back up." And I was like, "Wow, that's great." And I'm still like, "Oh yeah, this guy's crazy." And then that hawk landed on on a road sign. And he's like, he's a little skittish around folks. I'll be right back. And he walks over, hands him a piece of lunch meat. And then the hawk flies off. And I was like, well, I judged this man harshly. And I felt bad. And he comes back, he's like, yeah, I'm trying to make friends with a bear right now. And I was like, you know that even if you're friendly with a bear, it can still turn on you. He goes, yeah, but ain't it worth it? And I was like, I think so. He goes, well, anyway, you guys have a good trip, because you're headed through and it looks like your family's getting ready. You guys have a good trip. All right. You take care, be safe. Blessings upon you. And then he took off and just...
Did he turn into an eagle and fly away?
I was waiting for it. I told Nicole, it was like, do not pull away. We're going to see what he morphs into.
Did you literally watch a stranger hand feed a wild hawk lunch meat?
Yes.
Huh. That he bought from the convenience store when he
Yeah.
was getting smokes.
Yep.
And he popped his shirt on just to go in so he could be friendly and follow their rules.
Yep.
This is going to be one of the dorkiest things I've ever said. And you're going to get this. And if whoever else gets this, you're listening to the right show. That sounds like Neil Gaiman doing his best to do a modern take on Radagast the Brown.
Yes.
Like,
Yep.
while still trying to be sexy. I hate myself for having that thought. I hate myself for having it 5 minutes ago and waiting to use it.
Yeah, this guy was the coolest. I just looked at Nicole. I was like, I want to follow him into the woods.
Who doesn't? I want to find this guy.
Yeah.
I want to befriend him and have him build me a little shack behind,
Yeah.
and we can go down to the store together.
just the two of us.
Mhm.
You know what? The three. That's you and I's retirement plan. We're just gonna show up. We'll show up. We'll find I know the route we took. We'll find that convenience store. It's just off the interstate, and we'll pull up, and he'll be like, waiting for y'all. Come on, here we go. No, I got a backpack full of stuff already. Let's head up to the mountain. And because we watch him, he goes, okay, so from the convenience store, it kind of goes down a dip and then back up the hill. He's got to cross the interstate and then head to his stretch of the mountain. I watched him go down the hill. I watched him walk up. He stepped over the guardrail, gave a wave, not at us, but at like the cars coming.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just saw him, like, obviously not like disappear, vanish, but just disappear. And I was like, go, Nicole, go. Because I wanted to see where this guy's headed. We pull up. He was gone. I could not see him anymore. I don't know if he had made it, like if he had just done a quick jog across. And because of course it goes down and then back up the mountain. Dude was gone. It was amazing.
We have to find this guy.
I
Oh God, my poor dad joke, and I can't stop saying it. Just you, me, and a Midsummer Night's Dream boat. The three of us holding hands, going off into the woods, just being pixies about the whole thing.
Yep.
Oh God,
Absolutely.
that's so gnarly. Like, do you want to feed the hawk lunch meat out of your hand? No, I was born with 10 of these digits. I'd like to keep them all.
Oh, he's fine. He's just a little skittish around folk.
I'll take your word for it. Your Majesty, I want to say. I don't know.
Is that the correct term?
Do you have a name or a title? I'm fine with either one.
Just let me know, and I will refer to you thusly. Thank you. So this guy does that I wanted to tell you, but that just came up organically. I was like, well, I got to tell you this.
Hold on, and then he puts on his t-shirt and it just says MAGA, and you're like, oh God damn it, it's ruined.
Never mind.
Well, son of a bitch.
What he told me, he goes, I don't care about politics. Folks is folks. People are people. That we should just be nice to each other in the earth. I'm like, just this organic conversation we're having.
He's just up there just tongue-kissing woodchucks. What the hell does he care about voting?
Exactly. He was like, he said, I don't pay attention to that stuff. I don't have a TV. I don't have a smartphone. I don't have any of that stuff. Don't need it. Don't care for it. He said, I can come down here. They let him use the phone, or there's a pay phone. I didn't quite get the details on that.
They keep the last pay phone in existence just for the Woodland Sprite to come down and call the rest of the elves. I don't know who.
I don't know. I assume that he just gets most of his correspondence through messenger ravens and a deer that wears a jaunty cap.
And they special order everything he needs at the convenience store, up to and including bear chow.
Yeah.
Because his leg is about to be bear chow if he doesn't present something else.
he wasn't real fond of the of the kibble I got for him, so we got him. I got him Twinkies. We're gonna see if Twinkies work.
God, this story gets so much shittier when you read that somewhere in the Smoky Mountains, a very kindly old woodland gentleman was killed by a wild bear.
No one would ever know. That's the problem.
Only thing that was found was a beautiful head of hair and a t-shirt tucked into a back pocket. The pants weren't even there. They just left the pocket.
It was a message. So Omaha. By the way, thanks Omaha. Shows were great. Lincoln, Zubar is the best. Go on Sunday nights. Kyle Kinane's coming up in a month. He'll be performing there. Brad Stewart's awesome.
Let's plug Kyle. I have no problem with that. He doesn't need it, but
no, especially in Lincoln. Like there's Brad posted today. He's like, yeah, we added a show and there's only 2 tickets left, so somebody better get them now. But we're in Omaha, and after the show, my buddy Jeremy's like, hey, there's a punk rock bar just like a block away. I gotta take you there. It's your kind of place. And
I'm sorry. I just realized that you're plugging a bar that's literally on a poster behind your head.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Look at
that. Please subscribe to Zig and Larry Gory Comic on YouTube.
Plugging a comic whose poster is right there.
That's a skunk with his head in a mayonnaise jar.
Yep.
Who was saved by the woodland sprite, and now they're buddies too.
Apparently. Yeah, he's a tactical skunk. He doesn't use a gun. He just pulls his skunk out of his other back pocket that is
giving each other
large
platonic handies, and it's how they roll. They're both cool with it.
Yeah, this is what we got to do, Jeffrey. I just assumed the skunk's name is Jeffrey.
Why couldn't it be? I got no problem with
that. They're formal cats.
Spelled with 1 F just to be a prick.
So we're at this bar, and this guy comes like stumbling in, and we're watching, and he's carrying his. And this guy is visibly drunk off his ass, right? And he's carrying his skateboard, and he's obviously known at this bar because the doorman just looked at him and was like, meh, and because he carded even me, he was like, yep. Got to see that ID. I was like, no problem, man. I'll hand it over. And he's like, yeah, he goes, look, you're like me. We're both old as fuck, but I got to do my job. And I was like, I'm not mad. And he goes, totally cool. All right, man. This guy walks in holding his skateboard, stumbling in, and the doorman is just like, man, we know you. We're up there ordering drinks. This cat comes up. They call him by name. I didn't catch it because they were playing loud punk music and it was rad. He walks up, though, kind of near us. He takes his shot, and he looks at the skateboard, and he says, this is for you, brother. Gives him a cheers, like a little punk on the deck of the skateboard. Does the shot, sets it down, and then goes to do something. He comes back and says the same thing. Gets another shot, boom, takes it down. We're like, what is happening? And I'm like, this is one of God's special soldiers. Everyone just be cool about it. So we go outside, and this cat falls out of the bar. Like, he stumbles, he almost eats shit, like lands on a car, pulls himself up, looks at his skateboard, and looks at the skateboard, kisses it on like the tip, and this is what he says. He goes, thank you, God, for all the shots. You get me home. And we back up because this dude takes the skateboard, and he's barely able to walk, but he gives it one of those cool guy like throws, so it's already rolling. He stumbles, hits it, and then gives it like 4 bump, and he's gone. He's gone, and he's just like weaving through people and around shit, and we're like, either he was faking how drunk he was, or this guy is blessed by God himself. Like,
He's just got one of those cerebellum. It's like, I can do nothing right except for skateboard.
I can
That is
skateboard
what-
and do shots.
Well, that's when you thank God. You have the one talent. I get so drunk I can't speak, breathe, or jump off this car very well. But I can get home on a stick with wheels on it.
Yeah, it was I was like, you guys, I was telling the local guys, I'm like, you guys have to come back. You have to get his name. I need to interview this guy. I need to figure out who. I want him on the show with me and Zig so that we want to make him comfortable. We'll do shots with him and the skateboard. I want to know what the skateboard's name is, because you know it has one.
I believe it's God. I believe that is God.
Probably. Thank you, God, for all the shots. Like the skateboard was buying.
Yeah. The skateboards, but his name is God. He's not to quote Groundhog say, I'm not the God, but I am a God. I'm the God of getting this drunk idiot home safe.
It was just one of the most gorgeous things. I was just like, it's like watching a sunset in Key West. It's the best thing.
Some people are just magic. After a bottle and half of Wild Turkey, he just becomes Tony Hawk. It's amazing.
I think even Tony Hawk would be like, I start naming the video games after this asshole, because I got nothing. So I go to Lincoln on Sunday, and I see I see big fat drunk Santa Claus wandering
in the mirror?
streets.
You set me up, bitch. You know you did. Come on.
Have you guys ever heard a big bearded dude cry right into the
You
microphone?
call yourself Crunk Kringle. I
I
can't make
know.
the same
You're
joke.
not
Come on.
Come on.
Come on.
Although no, one of the other comics though, because this dude ended up like near Zubar for a minute, and one of them looked at me and they're like, "Is that your dad?" And I said, "I really wanted to go, Papa, Papa, is that you?" But and I say that he was wearing a red sweatshirt with matching red sweatpants, gray beard, gray hair going everywhere, and one of the restaurants is pumping out was it Been Caught Stealing?
Okay.
Got caught stealing.
Jane's Addiction, yeah.
Yeah.
Or is that Porno for Pyro? No, that's Jane's Addiction, yeah.
Jane's Addiction, yeah. And so he just sits on the bench outside and is sitting there, and you can kind of hear him mumbling along. And then every time somebody would walk past him, he would just non-aggressively scream the song at the person walking by.
How do you non-aggressively scream "Been Caught Stealing" at a stranger who's taking a stroll?
I can't explain it. It's one of those things that you just have to see, because he was the part where she walked right through the door. Walked right through the door.
He's more doing spoken word and or possibly a magic spell.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this college kid is like slows down and he goes, "It's a good song, right?" And this cat just doesn't stop yelling the lyrics at this kid, and the kid's like, "Okay."
I love those situations. It's like after a while, you're like, oh, so this is what we're doing. Like there's no part 2 of this. This is the story of me and you.
Yep.
Got it.
And I was just the watcher. I just got to be the watcher for once. Because this guy, it's like, "You're not gonna ask me to go inside and get you some chicken strips or bag of fries. You're not gonna ask me for $5. You just want me to stand here and be the target of your screamings." Excellent.
He wants another $1.75 to put in that fucking jukebox for more Jane's Addiction. That's all he wants.
I'd have given it to him.
Yeah.
So those were my adventures and my meetings with more of God's special soldiers.
Delightful.
Like I feel like I'm gathering just a class of misfit X-Men with this.
A lot of your stories involve magical beings and Santa Claus. Like you have a lot of like, I met Santa in this form today. All right, you walked into a room of Santas at your son's the thing for charity that he was doing. Yeah, the fundraiser. Thank you. That's the word I'm failing to come up with. Fundraiser. It's a very difficult word. The thing for charity. Christ. Making that degree work for me. Fundraiser, stupid. Yeah, that's the word you
Liberal
want.
arts.
Hey, Larry, who are we brought to you by?
We are brought to,
Who are we brought to them by?
Splitsociety.com.
There
.org.
it is.
God damn
.org.
it.
No.
.org. Can I do a second take? Can we try
Yeah,
that again?
take two. And
Splitsociety.org. Are you guys tired of the same old, trying to scrounge around and find something to smoke out of, something decent, something fun? Are you tired of coring out apples and trying to find an appropriate piece of tinfoil to use or to stick bottle tops? Or are you tired of turning soda cans and old beer cans into ersatz bongs? Well, you should be. For God's sakes, have some pride. And go to spliffsociety.org, where you will find some of the greatest and most artisan made,
to my knowledge, the only artisanally made palm leaf, all natural, no glue spliffs anywhere.
correct,
To my knowledge, I could be incorrect, but
hand rolled, smooth as silk. Trust me on that one. And they are fantastic. Have some pride in yourself. Go drop some cash on a .org, because they also help out a lot of charities. That's part of their business model. So
hence the org.
And so stop smoking out of bullshit, guys, and shove your favorite herb into these spliffs. They also have rolling papers. They have stash boxes. They have awesome merch. I am not wearing it right now, but I do a lot. I was repping it in Omaha the last week when I posted on Instagram, because I was wearing my Spliff Society hat and my Spliff Society shirt, wandering around Omaha. It was rad. So head on over to spliffsociety.org and do yourself a favor. Tell them little baby meat pie sent you.
They will know what that meant.
They actually will.
They will. Shockingly enough. Well, Larry, would you like to get to what we've successfully ignored for about a half hour or so right now?
No.
No? Okay. What do you want to do?
I'm
gonna do the shot real quick.
Ooh. I will have a drink with you.
I figured since my bowels are touch and go right now, Irish whiskey, a little bit more of that. That's exactly the way you want to go.
Yeah. Just relax those. Yeah, you know what? I do want to get to the topic.
Okay. Well, I think you have a sixth sense for picking out what I'm going to do, because we kind of have another tie-in, bud.
Yeah.
We kind of do. So your woodland sprite, pixie gentleman, the nymph of the Smoky Mountain Forest. Where was he, by the way? Where were you in your travels?
It was. We were in. I believe we were in Tennessee. I mean, we were.
Okay.
But like Eastern Tennessee, like just on the edge, right before you leave.
Right before you leave, right before you're able to get out, you will find the gentleman. Right. Well, you know, he's a friend to the woods and to the animals.
Yes.
He would never hurt one.
No.
He would never use one against you.
No.
However, in history, there have been many occurrences of humanity being so bored, so dumb, or other, that they have attempted to use animals in different ways in warfare. So I was trying to think of a way before I left here to weaponize my 10-pound dog so it would kill the upstairs neighbor, because she's got to die before I go. And I went down a really weird click hole, and I found on businessinsider.com somehow just a list of some of the more interesting ways that humanity has tortured animals that, well, yeah, into doing their bidding in warfare. Like, I mean, I'm not talking like the stuff that you know, like I'm not talking like heavy cavalry. I'm not talking like you know, the Mongol hordes shooting arrows with amazing precision off the backs of these horses, or like the Apache warriors do the same thing. They don't even have to hold the reins. You know what I mean? They can control the animal with their huge balls and still kill you at 100 paces with a fucking homemade bow and arrow.
Yeah.
Those amazing human beings. I'm talking about other interesting things. So I found this thing, and I am mortified / interested. Some of this I knew. Some of this I went, okay.
Oh no.
Yeah. So I'm going to start with one that is kind of on the cusp of what you've heard, but what you probably haven't seen.
Okay.
And I just kind of shot that up. I like explaining these to you without actually putting it on the screen, because then it gives you the right to go and find them and put it in the ending credits. And I think it's just nice to have a bump. The way you do it, Larry does all the credits, by the way, for the show, and it's such a great job. I refuse to direct it. It's just fun for me to see what it comes up with. So I just go.
It's a surprise every time.
So you know the idea. I mean, war elephants. That's a thing. Okay. Several cultures throughout history have like used elephants in battle. You get a dozen or so messed up fucking elephants with tusks coming at your line. The line breaks. You know what I mean? Fuck you, the cavalry. Everybody shits their pants. They drop what they have and they go with scurrying if they're coming at you.
Guys, we've got horses. What do they have? Jesus Christ.
But the most recent, as recent as 100 years ago, and I thought this one was interesting because I didn't see this coming. It doesn't even tell me where it's. Oh, it's from the U.S. The picture's from the U.S. Army archives. But some enterprising gentlemen, they in air quotes mounted a machine gun to the back of this poor bastard, like he was a Humvee. But I want to say mounted. It's like on a four-legged not a tripod, but whatever a four-legged version of that would be, stand. You know, and they just kind of like didn't even strap it down. They just put it on this damn thing's back, and there's a guy in the back just firing away over this thing's head. I just thought that was interesting.
So they mounted a machine gun to an elephant.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They didn't even mount it. They just set it there. And they went
the elephant was cool with that?
He looks cool with it in this picture. I'm guessing on day one, everybody had their sphincters clenched real tight. Hey, what do you think? What do you think Babar's gonna do when you shoot a 50 cal over his fucking gigantic ears? I'm gonna get shit his pants and kill somebody real good. All right. Well, that's why we use privates for that. Something we haven't spent a whole lot of money on. Do you know how to do this? Pull your trigger finger. Cool. Get on top of the elephant. We're gonna do an experiment. Anybody who says I'm in for that, yeah, they're expendable.
Yeah. Yeah, that elephant's not gonna shit its pants. It's gonna shit everybody's pants.
No. We were going to come back to elephants later, but that was basically just setting this up for something else. But that's just like, this is one that I had never heard of before, as early as the 60s. Mine hunting dolphins?
Mm.
Is that something you're familiar with?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So in the 60s, the Navy first began studies on dolphins. At first, the studies were limited to testing how dolphins were just like hydrodynamic. They were just like testing how they went through water, because they were just going to try to modify technology to mimic the way that they can, move around, and they're just amazing at. For torpedoes, basically, was the idea. They were looking for that. But the late 60s, early 70s, the U.S. came up with something called the U.S. Navy Marine Mammal Program. It was a major project, a program which is still going. That's my favorite. It's been around since 10 years before you and I were born. There's been people for over 50 years going, I don't know, put stuff in a blowhole. Maybe I keep doing it. I don't keep doing it. They're training dolphins for mine hunting and force protection missions. In the case of mine hunting, dolphins are trained to locate underwater mines. Thankfully, they're not trained to nudge them and blow them the fuck up. So that's what I like. But they release buoys like over their location, so the Navy can come and be like, oh, you found one there? Thanks, Flipper. And then they go down and they send people to blow it up because they've already spent way too much money on this fucking dolphin. It's like, it's hard to train these things, but it's easy to train a guy how to dive and tap something with a hammer.
That's Admiral Dolphin to you. Thank you very much.
In the Iraq War in 2003, such dolphin-led operations led to the clearance of over 100 mines. Additionally, dolphins have been trained to guard harbors against enemy divers. Now, hold on. It's not what you think. When a diver approached, the dolphin was trained to bump a buoy device onto the person's back, which would drag his ass to the surface. And then we could shoot that motherfucker. Or just grab him, take him to the back, and have a question. Like, you done got caught by a dolphin. You know, you want to tell this story? No, come on, we have a question for you. We want to know. But they weren't hurting him. They just like put a fucking balloon on his back and shot his ass up to the surface, giving him the bends at the time, though, I'm guessing. Like, depending on how deep they were.
And you know that dolphin humped them a little bit. They're humpy.
Mm-hmm.
Dolphins are humpy creatures.
They are humpy. They're humpy and they're a little rapey too to each other.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Well, the one thing that I was actually kind of heartwarmed about this, because after watching, you know, shit like a SeaWorld and like things of that nature, where they basically like, I don't know what you say, torture the animals into performing. I'm a slave, you know, then they jump in the air.
Yeah.
The animals are released almost daily, untethered into the open ocean. Since the program began over 50 years ago, only 3 have not returned. So, you know, they're treated all right, man. I mean, they're trained to go and come back, but they're smart enough to boogie if they wanted to, I would assume.
They seem to be. Yeah, I'd be like, well, this is it. Hey, can I add on to that?
Mine hunting dolphins?
The government's initiative for training marine animals.
Are you asking permission to speak on your own TV show or your own podcast?
Yes.
Good. Yeah. The answer is no, stupid. Absolutely not. I'm speaking. Yes, of course. What do you got?
Fair enough. No, that's probably for the best.
The adults are talking.
So as part of that program, there was an initiative where they thought they could teach dolphins, because of their high intelligence, how to communicate, speak English even. And so they had, I don't remember the names, but there was a scientist, a female scientist, who was working with this male dolphin. And
I know. Go for it. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and so he was he wouldn't do the tasks and wouldn't pay attention. So she reached down and jerked him off.
Mm-hmm. She jerked him off. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then he would do what he was supposed to, and this became a daily thing. And I get it. I'm the same way. Go mow the yard. I don't want to. Now? Yeah, okay.
Well, in 15 minutes, but yeah.
After a nap. So the government came in and they caught this. They could, like, the government came, was like,
that's right, because this was her idea. Like, nobody told her to do it. Like, this was like Sally's going, I got a theory. We're gonna keep this one real under wraps. It's not even going in the diary.
Yeah, we're just I mean, in her research notes, she's like, and you know, again, spit on my hand, which makes no sense. It's already underwater, but who cares? Just, it's a whole thing.
She never spoke about it except for her dinner parties. After her 3rd glass of wine, she would just blurt out stupid shit like, when there's a lull in the conversation, you know how much an elephant, or you know how much a dolphin comes? Like, what?
I'm sorry.
Like about a jug of milk's worth. They're big.
It's amazing, and we have to clean the pool. And that's why my skin's so soft. But they came in and they were like, you have just been jerking. That's the thing. The dolphin kept getting more aggressive. It would be like, all right, jerk me off. And then he would do like 3 or 4 tasks and then stop. And she'd be like, no, come on, you got to do this. And he's like, do I? And she'd be like, all right. So it was turned into like her full-time job was not teaching this dolphin to speak English. It became her full-time job just became jerking this dolphin off. And then he trained her. He would be like, you know, hitting like, here's the color blue, here's the color green. Oops, I forgot what red is. You better show me what red is. And so the government came in and they're like, no, we're not doing this anymore. And you're fired. Get out. We're not paying for you to jerk this dolphin off. And here's the sad part. But also I get it. That dolphin had pretty much just, he'd fallen in lust. He was not in love with her, but they kept him separated because he was highly aggressive to other dolphins. And then after like, I think it was like a month, he just decided to die.
Oh God.
He was just like, you're not gonna have that broad come in and and jerk me off when I hit the color blue, yeah, I'm done.
Wanted to just quit eating or die of a broken heart, or like what?
It's kind of the thing they think he did. They think he died of a broken heart.
He found the only tuna net in captivity and swam into it.
I think what it is, he died of. He just got too backed up. Is what happened. He didn't have a release.
The only death by blue balls in mammalian oceanography.
So
Jesus Christ.
when you said that, I was like, that's the only thing I can think of, and not for the usual reason.
Well, you can't really keep going with my story because there's at no point in time in any of this are people fucking these animals that I'm talking about.
Yeah, take us back.
Right.
Circle back around.
Okay, so all right. Well, this is sad, but this is kind of like a this is what you get thing, but you kind of get it. So anti-tank dogs. Anti-tank dogs. So this is sad. It was kind of by it ends up being funny-ish. It was kind of by necessity, but we'll get there. You kind of know, you can kind of follow the logic, okay? We're talking about World War II, when the Nazis betrayed the Soviets and invaded, right? So they didn't see it coming. Russians were not ready for it. And they didn't really have a whole lot of plans to stave off like the Nazi advance into, the homeland. So what the Soviets attempted to do originally was to train dogs to place bombs in front of the Nazi tanks and then run back to safety. That was plan one. Not terribly easy to do.
So it's reverse fetch.
It's reverse fetch. Yeah, it's like you put the bomb inside the dog's mouth, light it, go over there, and then come back, bud. I'll give you another one.
Leave it, boy. Leave it.
It's kind of a hard trick to train. Like, I don't even think what's his name? Cesar Millan, that guy. I don't even think he can pull it off. So instead, what the Soviets did, because they were out of ideas, they're like, well, we got all these shepherds, and we got a whole lot of Nazi tanks coming at us. Sorry, Fido, but we're gonna weaponize you. They attach bombs to the dogs, okay? And they train them to run underneath the tanks. There was a lever, so it's like really kind of low tech. Once they ran under the tank, the lever would drop, igniting the bomb, blow up the Nazi tank, okay? Now, it's not groovy to kill a dog in any fashion, but I kind of get it. You know what I mean? Like, you got a whole bunch of Nazis coming at you. You got no RPGs. What do you got? You got levers, you got German shepherds, and you got grenades. It's like, that's what we got. I'll sacrifice a dog to get rid of the Nazis. Yes, I get that. Okay. So the problem is that Soviet propaganda, by the way, the Kremlin likes to release things that are maybe a little untrue. At times, especially about their prowess in battle. They claim that around 300 German tanks were destroyed by 300 kamikaze Russian dogs. However, that's not true. The majority of the program was a failure because the dogs were trained on Soviet tanks, obviously, with like dummy bombs on their back. The problem is that Soviet tanks run on diesel. German tanks run on gasoline. So on the actual battlefield, the dogs got confused because they were smelling the wrong fuel, and they blew up the Soviets' own fucking tanks.
Oh, no.
Yeah, nobody thought about that.
Makes sense if they were using German shepherds, though.
Yeah. I mean, they have a whole bunch of shepherds.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what they got. They got all those fucking shepherds. The Soviets love attack dogs.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they would release them and they would run right back and like blow the shit out of whatever the hell a Russian tank is called. And that started World War II. So that didn't work out. The anti-tank dog program, they did kill it off in 1996. Moving on.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. So they blew up their own shit, wasted a whole bunch of dogs and went, you know what? Give me another several decades.
We can get this right in
a little bit.
Give us a few months. How many months? 50, 60 months.
The thing is, it's easy to make more dogs. They do it themselves. You know what I mean? Like, you don't even have to train to do that. They'll
Yeah.
keep making more dogs. You know, it's easy to make more dogs. You just get some lady to jerk one of them off and then just send them around to the other dogs.
Yeah.
Um,
It's essentially the same philosophy our government has about poor people.
God damn it. I just immediately said in my reptilian brain, and then my mammalian brain caught up and went, it's still right, but you should have taken a second. So going back to the elephant thing, I told you that to tell you this. War pigs.
Dun, 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 dun.
Very well done. War pigs. So it turns out that, you know, if you we're going back to, we're going to roughly call it medieval times, okay? The whole medieval, pre-medieval, that whole iron age of warfare, okay?
Mhm.
Guys with sticks and swords just like beating the hell out of each other on a muddy field. And if you have a whole bunch of people coming at you with elephants, your heavy cavalry doesn't do shit. Spearmen do not do shit. It's not going to mess with a handful of elephants. However, some back, I think it says the Romans might have been the first to do it, but they know that the Romans, Alexander the Great definitely did. They found a way to combat the elephants. Elephants are not big fans of pigs. They're kind of scared of pigs. A squealing handful of pigs coming at people, or coming at elephants rather, will freak them out and just disperse them, especially if you've doused them in pitch and lit them on fire. So the war pigs were actually incendiary devices. Somebody, Eglin, I'm not sure who this person is, but he's like is a Roman. It's written down. It's a Roman historian. So he wrote down in somewhere in 266 BC. The siege was broken when Megarians, whoever they are, doused pigs with combustible pitch, resin, set them alight, drove them towards the enemy's massed war elephants. The elephants freaked the fuck out, I'm paraphrasing here, in terror from the flaming, squealing pigs, killing great numbers of their own soldiers by trampling them to death. And you know what? I get it. If there are like 200 burning, screaming, dying pigs running at you, you get the fuck out of the way.
I'll tell you what, one's good enough for me.
Yeah. Mhm.
What is that? A flaming, burning, squealing, angry hog? Why is it on fire? Why are you asking questions? Get to the high ground.
And how many things did they try before they came up with that? Like, how many? Like, did it just work the first time? You want it to work the first time because, like, you know, you have an army that just has nothing but like mounted men on fucking elephants with huge tusks just tearing through your infantry. It's like, what do we got? We got oil. And we got Farmer John's fucking hogs. Send out the hogs. Well, first I'm going to light them on fire. Well, of course, light them on fire.
Well, because we're going to be hungry at the end of this battle. And we can just cut the skin off and we don't have to eat it.
I used to live next to a place, not well, in my little hometown, there had a hog market. So when those things were taken to slaughter, you heard them from like a half mile away.
Mm-hmm.
And they weren't on fire. They were just being herded towards their doom, but they didn't really realize that. Can you imagine the sound and the stink of flaming shit-covered bacon coming at you as it's realizing its own demise?
I mean, I keep shaking my head. I can imagine that because I know bacon. I worked in a hog confinement when I was in high school.
Oh, that's right. You used to confine hogs.
Yes, I did confine hogs.
Because they paid you $1 more an hour than minimum wage.
Yep, exactly.
Was it worth the extra fucking $8 a day, pal? Was it?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. Because I always smelled like hog shit.
But you don't know until you try it, especially if you're a kid. Mm-hmm. That's a good amount more money. You know, it's like $1 more than what I can make right now. Sure.
Yeah.
What do I have to do? Confine the hogs to what? Their own mortality.
Okay. I don't have anything to add to that. That was a perfect sentence. That was a perfect sentence.
This one I did know, and this one they did it once. It doesn't say in this. I want to say my memory they did it once. I could be wrong, but it almost damn near worked. World War II, bat bombs.
bat bombs.
Yeah, have you heard of this?
No.
It's actually a brilliant idea. It was come up by a fucking dentist too.
Well, they're cruel pricks anyway, so that makes
Yeah.
sense.
But this was us going after the enemy.
No, that's what I'm saying.
We're
Just
also cruel
dentists.
pricks.
Dentists
Oh.
are cruel pricks.
Yeah, I mean, as if we weren't cruel pricks in every war, but still, not as cruel as the Nazis. Though Nazis take the cruel prick award.
I'm not saying Nazis. I'm saying dentists. Nazis are bad. I think dentists are worse.
You know, there was a Nazi. There's had to have been Nazi dentists.
There were Nazi dentists. Haven't you ever seen Marathon Man?
No.
It's Dustin Hoffman.
Oh no.
Yeah, Dustin Hoffman.
Was he a Nazi dentist?
No, it was who. Okay, I gotta look it up because I gotta give you the actor. And I don't remember his name, but once I see it, I'll be like, oh yeah, him. Derp, Laurence Olivier.
Ah, very good.
Yeah, so a history student becomes caught in the middle of a dangerous international plot involving Nazis, stolen jewels, and government agents. Dustin Hoffman plays a Jewish student, and Laurence Olivier is he's a Nazi who is hiding in America as a dentist.
Delightful.
It's a great flick.
Never heard.
It's old. It's older than us.
Very good. Well, Sir Laurence Olivier.
So
We've ignored the bat bombs. We've successfully completed our show's runner.
yeah.
Like and subscribe. So here's the idea of a bat bomb. Come up by a dentist, an American dentist. So it's a bomb. It would contain there's no explosives in it per se. It's a big bomb-shaped thing with a bunch of holes drilled in it for the bats to breathe, because each one would contain 26 trays. Each tray held 40 bats that they kept cool in cooler temperatures because they were hibernating. Like just douse them like a little bit of I don't know, whatever drug, just to put them to sleep, and then kept them in a fridge-ish just to keep them. But each bat was outfitted with a very small incendiary device that was set to detonate after a certain amount of time. They were going to, and I want to say they did this once, but I did it by D+ effort research, but I'm remembering they did this once. They were going to launch them on the Japanese, because the majority of their houses, now a lot of these were like civilians, but their houses are made of like wood, and a lot of them had paper walls and shit. Yeah. So what you have hundreds and hundreds of these bombs. Each one has a small bat with a burning piece of something attached to its ass. And what does a bat do? It wants to find some place to go roost up underneath. So it would just like fly over these villages, and all these little bats would cause a shit ton of fucking fires and screw up their day. You know what I mean? There's not a whole lot you can do with all these bats starting fires.
This is like that story about Saint Olga of Kiev.
Yeah, very much so.
Just light these birds on fire and send them home. What? The fuck? What did you say? Maybe she was a dentist. Who knows?
I want to say that because it's really not. It's war. I hate this phrase. It's not a terrible idea, but then we perfected the atomic bomb, and we went, let's just drop a couple of those. That'll do.
Flaming bats? No, we're just gonna do the bombs instead.
Yeah, no, the bombs.
Where's the art in that?
Bombs are better because you want to make sure that their grandkids get cancer too. So that's what we're gonna do. We're not gonna freak out a shit ton of fucking bats. We're just gonna
need these bats to eat some mosquitoes. By the way, real quick, Zig and Larry ignores a topic, and Zig and Larry, none of these entities, nor D+ Effort Productions, endorses animal cruelty or
do we have to say that?
I feel like we do.
Oh, really?
Like we do. I feel like somebody's gonna go. Probably not our audience, but if there could be.
I'm definitely not pro lighting a pig on fire and throwing it at an elephant. I'm definitely not pro that.
No,
I mean, I'm pro the gumption, 2,000 years ago, for somebody to go, well, it's either that or we let them take the women. You know what I mean? Like, yeah,
sacrifice the pigs.
I will sacrifice somebody else's dog if it protects me from a Nazi tank. I'll tell you that right now. I won't feel good about it. I'll lose sleep.
Yeah.
But if those are my only two options, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm not. By no means am I like, no. I get the whole thing. Get the whole thing. Oh, Nazi tanks. And what do we have? We have
Mhm.
grenades, we have rifles, we have pistols, we got a shit ton of dogs.
Yeah.
Um well, we're gonna do this to the dogs. No, we already ran out of stupid guys that we drafted. We had them doing it.
We had them shooting on the top of the elephants for a while, and we ran out of those guys quick. Turns out the elephants, and then you light a pig and throw them. It doesn't matter how many bullets you have. The whole day, your Sunday is shot. Like it's just.
We tried ancient warfare on these Nazi tanks. We lit a pig on fire, put it in a trebuchet, launched it at it. They paused for a moment, and then we heard them giggle, and we knew maybe this wasn't a good plan.
Why'd you do that? Because Wi-Fi is not a thing yet, and we are bored. We're bored. No. I'm definitely not pro animal cruelty. PETA does take it a little bit too far because a pork chop is delightful. But it's definitely somewhere in the middle. But towards we're friends of the animal.
Yeah, we're buddies with animals. Not to the point of that
Jerking them off against the government's wishes. I have never jerked off an animal against the government's wishes, and you can put that on my tombstone, you son of a bitch.
It's always been with the government's blessing that I've done it. Neither of us are a woodland sprite either.
No, regrettably, and I tried. I did so many drugs to try to get there too.
Yeah, well.
Where are we at time wise? I want to see.
We got about 5 minutes.
Okay, let me see. Let me cherry pick this here. Okay, well then we're gonna go back to the woodland sprite thing because we're going full circle.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna hit this one, and then I'm gonna finish with that. I'm gonna hit this one. Pigeon guided missiles. I mean, do you want me to go into that, or that's just self-explanatory?
I feel like I want to hear more. I do. I want to hear more about
pigeon. But you have to let me do this other one after this, regardless of time.
Okay.
So pigeons are smart. Pigeons, crows are actually pretty bright. You could train them to do a lot of things, like be a carrier pigeon and go to one place and another, and take a note. What you could also do is, if your behavior is BF Skinner, you have Project Pigeon, and you have this brilliant idea. What you do is you have a bomb, and this is like what roughly what time frame are we in? We're in like the 40s. Okay, the project was in the 40s, revived a little bit later, but canceled in the 40s. So they're trying to figure out a way to guide missiles that are dropped, and they figured if you can train a bird, you put it inside the missile with windows, and it pecks at the window, and the pecking would change the altitude, like the fins on the back of this thing, to guide it down towards whatever it was trying to blow the hell up. Pigeon guided missiles were developed by behaviorist BF Skinner during Project Pigeon. Although the project was ultimately canceled because of the impracticality of the weapons, the idea of pigeon guided missiles showed promise. Missile had an array of lenses at the front that projected an image to the interior screen where this pigeon is strapped in, going down at terminal velocity, by the way.
Oh my God.
Pecked, well, I mean, it's just being dropped from a plane. So they pecked the screen and tried to get it. The project was canceled in 44. It was revived in 48 by the U.S. Navy. However, that missile guidance systems were proven effective in 53. So along the way, a shit ton of pigeons died a real confusing, real stressful death as they were plummeting towards the earth, desperately trying to peck at the correct thing that they were trained to peck. Because you can only do that so many times. You can train them to, peck whatever lens you want when it's inside. You know what I mean? When you're giving a bird seed or worms or whatever the fuck they want. You know what I mean? But once you feel that just drop, I'm pretty sure the training goes out the window as the pigeon shits itself and tries to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
Because they're not used to dropping. They're used to flying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did see a bunch of, how they put the spikes up to keep and all the shit to keep pigeons off of ledges.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
In Lincoln, I was walking by and I heard some pigeons. I turned to look, and all those spikes and anti-pigeon things, there were like 10 of them just up there, just walking along the spikes and just looking at me. And one of them, I swear, one of them just gave me one of those numbers, just the what's up, and I was like, those tough ass pigeons. Good for you guys. Fuck the man.
One of you idiots put up these spikes? They don't work, do they? So coming full circle, Larry, and you're so prophetic. It's not pathetic, prophetic, as in a
Either
prophet.
one.
No, but I swallowed there in the middle, and I want to make sure that you know that I'm not poking fun at you and calling you a prophet. Because we're going to talk about my boy Wojtek. I love this story for so many reasons. Wojtek was born in 1942. By the end of World War II, he was promoted to corporal in the Polish army. Wojtek was a bear who died as a corporal in the Polish army. Listen to this.
Oh.
So, this is an awesome story. I want to make fun of the Polish for this, but it's too easy. I won't because these people are great. So, there was a bunch of Polish prisoners of war that were captured by the Nazis. After being released from a Siberian labor camp during the Nazi invasion of Russia in 1942, the 22nd Polish Supply Brigade began a long trek south towards Persia, where they encountered a bear. They named him Wojtek. The bear became a mascot for the troops. It was young. It was apparently like a young bear. It had no mother, no family. I don't know if it was abandoned, if the mom died. It was a war zone, so who knows? They don't really say. I don't think they know. But they decided to they have just been released from a Nazi camp. They're walking. They were a supply brigade, right? So it was their job to like bring the munitions and the food and stuff to the guys in the front. But they just took this bear under their wing until it was for like its whole life. The bear would, they gave it a lot of booze. They trained it to smoke, although apparently he just ate cigarettes, but it's the 40s. Like cigarettes were a vitamin. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like give it to the bear. It's fine. So they took
Barney and Fred used to hawk Winston cigarettes.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. It's good for your lungs. So they're doing this on foot. So it takes a while, and bears grow quick, especially when they have a bunch of booze and they got a bunch of guys like giving them whatever they got. After a very long journey, Wojtek's company, the 22nd, they reached Egypt, where they were preparing to re-enter the war zone through Italy. Like they were going back to, they're not going to retire. It's still World War II. They're going to go help their buddies. The Polish army has strict rules. There's no pets, no pets passage to war zones. No animals, no pets. So the company did the only thing they could. They deputized it. They made Wojtek a soldier. They made it legal. And then the Polish government went, "Oh, you got us. I guess that counts." So they let him go.
Amazing.
So he's massively strong. Like this is what he's grown. He's like 400. It says 440 pounds at this point. At this point in his life, and they used him as kind of a pack animal buddy. Like he carried weapons and munitions with these guys who were supplying their boys much faster than the men could walk. Eventually, Wojtek became so symbolic of the company, they immortalized him on their emblem. They raised this little buddy. They gave him a shit ton of Polish vodka, a handful of unfiltered cigarettes, a whole bunch of food. He decided he liked these guys. He's like, yeah, strap a whole bunch of shit to my back, fellas. I'm with you. I'm here for the war effort. And they just hung out with him. And he died very, like, it doesn't say how he died, but just said he was a corporal. So at some point he got promoted.
Yes, he did.
How great is that? There's just a picture of these guys with Woj when he's like small, like he's a cub. In this, he's like, he couldn't be more than 30 pounds here, like 20, 30 pounds. He's sitting on a bucket upside down, but it's all these Polish guys like, this is our bear. His name is Wojtek. Someday he will take munitions into the field. And sure as fucking enough, he did. So the guy up in the woods who you prophesize is like trying to make friends with a bear, you just got to start him small and give him luckies, and then he'll like hang out with you. He'll even go into a war zone with you and get drunk and just play cards with him. Apparently, like he just
same.
Apparently, bears just want buddies.
I think it would work on me too.
How great is that? These guys were rescued from a Nazi labor camp. They're like, well, we're going back into the fight, man. Our boys need us. There's a bear. What do we do? I'm gonna keep him and train him. Sure. What else do we do? We're gonna go back through in Italy. I'm sorry, no bears. This is Corporal Wojtek. Okay.
Show some goddamn respect.
He's 440 pounds. You can't take a bear. You want to tell him? He's addicted to smokes and booze, by the way, and we're the ones that got it.
We're his supply. Try to cut us off. Go ahead. Can you
And we got a
imagine being
chick in
like,
the back who has no problem jerking him off. Someday her great granddaughter is gonna be in the U.S. Naval Mammalian, whatever the fuck it is.
I'm gonna do just like my grandma always did, just like grandma taught me.
How great is that, though?
That's
I
fantastic.
Yeah, Wojtek, the
Wojtek.
amazing Corporal Bear.
I love it.
Yeah,
So, I mean, really, I think just that's how they kept most of the Marines too, wasn't it? They were just
yeah,
like, we'll give you booze and smokes. Great.
cool. Can I light the pigs on fire? No, when you're out there, just we have a whole don't ask, don't tell policy about lighting pigs on fire.
I had seen a thing where the Marines, speaking of Marines and booze, where they got their nickname the Devil Dogs from the Nazis. The Nazis started calling the U.S. Marines Devil Dogs, and if you remember right, the Nazis were getting sent chocolate bars full of meth. So they were getting those sent to the front lines to keep them awake, alert, and giving them super strength.
Uh-huh.
The Nazis were also the fiercest fighting squad that anything had ever seen. They'd been training for years. They picked all these giant German essentially just these giant German soldiers, and then they shoved them full of meth and gave them, at the time, before America really got involved and went, what, we need better weapons? Yeah, that's the thing that we know how to do. Fuck you. But the Nazis had the best weaponry on the planet, and what we did is we just backed a truck up. I can only assume we just backed a truck up in the foothills of Tennessee, down in Kentucky, Alabama, Arkansas, with like a bunch of nudie magazines, cigarettes, and booze, and they were like, and they just piled these boys on, and as they were splitting them up during the draft, they're like, those five, they're Marines. Well, how can you tell? Well, one keeps trying to bite his own ear off. The other four keep beating the shit out of each other.
And giggling.
Yeah, and they're digging it. So yeah, they're Marines. We send them over there. And then so the fiercest fighting force at that time was Germany, was the Nazis, with all of their technology and their weaponry and their meth. And what we did was sent a bunch of hilljacks, little 5'6", 100 maybe 40 pounds, angry hilljacks with bump fire shotguns and sharpened trench shovels, and just went, get them. And they did.
Mm-hmm.
To the point where the Nazis were yelling that having a bump fire shotgun in trench with a sword attached to the end of it in trench warfare was cheating. They were like, no, we can't do that anymore. Yeah, we can, boys. Watch me. I love the idea that they didn't call themselves, they were like, we're the Devil Dogs, fellers. It was the Germans going, these are straight from Satan's asshole. Hey,
we
buddy,
should have given them a bear.
I'm sure one of them just, hey, them Polish fellers got a bear. We need to have two of them. What are we going to give him? We're going to give him moonshine and hand jobs and just see what happens. And we're gonna strap a machine gun to his back and swords to his face and just put him in a trench and just let him go hungry for a while.
Why? Because we got free time.
We
got free time right now.
We got him on the run. Let's really piss him off.
If we ain't killing Nazis, they let us pretty much do whatever we want.
It's, man, you know what? I think we need to write that movie.
we just kill Nazis, and then sometimes we just have barbecue. It's just fine. Whatever.
It's fine. Mm-hmm. It's fine. There was one time I read a book and we sent a bunch of flaming pigs down in the trenches.
It works, by the way. It freaks out. It never stops freaking people out. Even if you've seen it twice, it still freaks you out.
It freaked. I lit them on fire and it freaked me out. I was upset. I'm still upset. But goddamn, it didn't work. Clem just running along with just taking pictures, going, I'm going to take this home with me. Clem's not right.
No.
Clem is not good. We just let Clem have, well, anyway, he did things. Anyway, what'd you learn today, buddy?
Lots of stuff. I learned that it's okay to love your pets, but not to love your pets, because the U.S. government will not stand for that. They'll let you do anything, really. I mean, they'll let a whole bunch of syphilitic black guys die to test them, but they won't let you jerk off a dolphin and on their watch. No. Their rules are weird.
They have very weird rules. We will no longer give you $50 million to jerk off this porpoise.
I'll take 40. This is not a negotiation.
I'm at $40. I'll take $40 and let me get him one more time.
No, there is no. I'll do it for free on the weekends. No, I'm. Here's the thing. This is gonna get out.
What you're not understanding.
I learned that you can't leave your house without meeting somebody who is magic. It's just impossible.
It seems to be the case. Yes.
It's you went into a convenience store for, I'm guessing, beef jerky and just like a sody pop, and you came out meeting Jack Hanna's illegitimate magical grandson.
Yep.
The reincarnation of Steve Irwin. It's like he's gonna be fine with the Hawks and the goddamn bear, but a raccoon's gonna get this guy. You know what I mean? Like something you don't see coming.
It's because raccoons are shanky.
Yeah. What'd you learn?
I learned about war pigs. I learned that story about the woman jerking off a dolphin ends very sad. And I didn't think it was going to be that sad when I said it.
I kind of forgot about the dolphin die.
Well, because to me, like when I first learned about it, I was like, that dolphin's rad. He just peace outed. He was just like, I'm out, bitches. Fuck this. And turns out
you could die as a aquatic mammalian from sexual frustration and stopping to give a fuck. It's like, nah, I don't care.
I don't care anymore. I'm not pressing the red button.
They put me with a bunch of other dolphins. Guess what they don't have? Opposable thumbs. It doesn't work.
And I also learned a little something about myself. In that when I was younger, if you had told me about machine gun elephants, I'd have been like, fuck yeah. 1, that should be a band name. 2, I'm getting me a machine gun elephant. And now at this age and the maturing I've done, I'm like, I mean, it still sounds cool, but I don't think that's a good idea.
No, it's a bad idea. I really want to play a video game where that's an option, though.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it, but I want to.
In a video game, it doesn't count.
Preferably on the Oculus Quest, but that's just me.
Hey, guess what?
What?
I want that too.
Yeah.
And I love you.
I love you too. Whatever.
Parts about hanging out with these guys. God damn it, son of a bitch, motherfuck.